Hello and welcome to the lecture on API management. I'm happy to have you in this lecture. The objective of this lecture is to help you understand API management in detail. So without wasting other moment, let's dive deep into the subject. In this session, we'll start from the basic concept of APIs, understand why companies need API management, and then explore how Boomi provides complete API management capability as part of the Boomi enterprise platform. Before we talk about API management, let's understand what an API really is. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It is a digital gateway or a contract that allows one application to talk to another application. It exposes functionalities or data from a system in a well-structured and a secured manner. I'll give you an example. When a mobile app shows your bank balance, it does not directly access the bank database. It calls a bank balance API, and the bank system sends the result securely. Think of an API as a waiter taking your order from the customer to the kitchen, a bridge between the applications, a control door to access the backend data. Why do companies need API management? So modern enterprise run on hundreds of applications like ERP, CRM, HR data, cloud application, mobile apps, or e-commerce portals, partner systems and custom apps. All the systems need to expose or consume an API. However, simply exposing API is not enough, right? Companies need a way to secure, monitor, analyze, version, and control access to the data via the API. That's why an API has to be managed via an API management system. Here are the key challenges companies face without managing the API. First is security. The APIs must be protected from unauthorized access, misuse, and attacks. Second is the traffic and performance control. Companies need to limit how many requests an API can handle and ensure it does not overload backend systems. Third is monitoring and troubleshooting. The APIs must be observed in real time to identify failures, slowdowns, and performance issues. Version management. The old API version must be maintained while new versions are rolled out. Next is the developer enablement. External or internal developers need documentation and a simple way to consume the APIs. Next is central governance. Enterprise need one place to manage all the APIs, track their usage, and apply the policies. So without the API management, system become vulnerable, inconsistent, and extremely difficult to scale. So let's understand the key concepts of API management. To understand Boomi's service, let's quickly cover the core building blocks of an API management. The core building blocks of API management is the API gateway, a secure entry point through which all API traffic flows. It handles authentication, authorization, rate limit, caching, routing, and logging. Next is the API design. It is defining the structure of the API, endpoints, method, data formats, error responses, and etc. Next is API publishing. It is making APIs available for internal apps, external partners, or public consumption. Next is security policies, applying rules such as API key, OAuth, JWT tokens, blocking the IPs, SSL or TLS. Next is the monitoring analytics. So tracking the performance, let's say total calls, error percentage, response time, top consumer, that's all core component of an API management. Then you have lifecycle management, managing the versions of the APIs, V1, V2, you deprecate the APIs, you retire the APIs. Then you have developer portal, where you provide the documentation and testing tools for developer to use APIs easily. So these concepts apply across all the API management platforms, including the Boomi. So let's talk about API management in Boomi and how it works. So Boomi offers a complete API management capability as part of the Boomi enterprise platform. This capability allows you to design the APIs, secure the APIs, publish the APIs, manage their lifecycle, monitor API consumption, apply governance policy. So this is fully integrated with Boomi integration and runtime services. Boomi also provides three main API management components. First is API design and creation. Boomi allows you to design three types of API: REST API, SOAP API, and OData APIs, wherein you can define resources and methods, provide sample payloads, define request and response structures, create mock APIs for testing. Also, you can import from Swagger or Open API files. What are the key benefits? You can turn any Boomi integration process into an API with just a few clicks. Next component is API gateway, which is the runtime. So Boomi API gateway provides authentication and authorization, rate limiting, quotas, IP controls, threat protection, logging, and traffic management. The gateway ensures that all API traffic is processed securely before reaching the backend system. Where does the gateway run? Boomi provides a cloud API gateway, and you can also deploy gateway in local runtime for on-premise scenarios. The next component is API management and publishing. In Boomi, you can publish APIs to any environment, cloud, on-prem or hybrid. You can configuring policies for security and throttling. You can expose process APIs, system APIs and data APIs as well. You can generate API documentation automatically. You can group APIs into API product for partners or business units. Next is monitoring and analytics in Boomi. So Boomi give you a dashboard to view total API calls, consumer level analytics, policy violation, error logs and response time. This helps IT team understand usage patterns and troubleshoot issue faster. Let's understand the real-time examples of API management with Boomi. Let's look at how company use Boomi API management in real-world scenarios. The first example is exposing ERP inventory data to an e-commerce website. Let's say an organization uses SAP or Oracle ERP, wants to expose inventory availability to Shopify, Magento mobile apps and B2B partner system. So with Boomi, you can create an inventory API, connect it to the ERP via Boomi integration process, apply the rate limits to avoid overloading the ERP, publish the API to the API gateway. Now all channels can get real-time inventory securely. Another example is the banking use case where you can securely access the customer data via the API. A bank wants to expose account balance and transaction history to its mobile app. So Boomi provides OAuth authentication, TLS encryption, monitoring, version control, highly secured API gateway, which ensures regulated and controlled API access for financial institution as well. Next is the e-learning or SaaS platform, where is the partner integration. A SaaS platform wants partner to integrate and create apps. So using Boomi, what you can do, they expose APIs for student data, courses and billing. The developer uses the Boomi generated documentation, and then the API gateway protects the platform for abuse. Then you have hybrid integration, on-prem data exposed as API. A company wants mobile applications to access on-prem SQL server data. So what you can do, you can use the Boomi to integrate process, connect to SQL server locally. An API gateway can expose that process securely. No need to open the internal firewalls because you have an API which manages the authentication. The data is shared as a REST API instantly. Here is a summary of Boomi API management. So Boomi API management capability gives organization a complete way to build APIs quickly, expose data and service securely, apply enterprise grade governance, monitor performance and issues, support hybrid cloud scenarios, enable partner and developers with API products. This makes Boomi not just an integration platform but a central API digital gateway for the entire enterprise. I hope you are now familiar with API management. Well, that's the end of the session, so let's wrap it up. By now, you should be able to explain API management in your own words. Thank you so much for attention listening till the end. I wish you a fantastic day. Bye and take care.